Hi there, it's Rodger, Sir Rodger Rose, and welcome to another Kapow read. Today we will be reading The Nutty Nut Chase by Catherine White, The Nessa Cabin. Okay, so we're going to read this, and this is just one book. It's fairly short, so here we go. The Nutty Nut Chase, written by Catherine White and illustrated by Vanessa Cabin, which means she does and draws the pictures. Hickory was making rude faces at Pecan when the strangest thing happened. A shiny brown nut suddenly burst up from the ground. It wobbled and shook, then lay there, teasingly delicious. "Wow, lunch!" Pecan shouted. "Wow, lunch and dinner!" Hickory screeched. "It's my nut," said Pecan. "It's mine," snapped Hickory. "Who's making that noise?" shouted Badger. "I'm trying to sleep." All the animals came out to see what was happening. "My nut!" Pecan shouted. "It's mine!" yelled Hickory. "I saw it first." "Box his ears!" shouted Little Rabbit. "Certainly not. Boxing ears doesn't solve problems," said Badger firmly. "Oh," said Littlest Rabbit, disappointed. "Then bop his nose." "No boxing or bopping," said Badger. "There will be a competition and the winner will get the nut." "I know," said Hedgehog. "The prickliest wins the nut." "But you're the prickliest," said Pecan. "So I am," said Hedgehog, delighted. "I win! I get the nut." "Cuddliest gets the nut," said the littlest rabbit. "I win." "Enough," said Badger. "We will have a race. First to reach the post wins." "Hooray! A race!" everyone cheered. Blackbird whistled the start of the race. They were off. Pecan and Hickory shot ahead, but the rabbits were close behind. Hedgehog tried to run, but managed a waddle. In a huff, he curled himself into a ball and rolled full speed down the slope. Littlest Rabbit looked back to see a prickly ball spinning towards him. "Look out!" he called. Too late! Hedgehog crashed through the races like a cannonball, and everyone landed in a prickly heap. "Oh dear," tutted Badger. "We'll have to start again, and prickly cannons are not allowed." Hedgehog snorted and sulked off. Blackbird whistled and they were off again. Pecan and Hickory were neck and neck. "My nut!" shouted Pecan triumphantly. "I win!" "No!" shouted Hickory. "It's mine! I win!" Suddenly the nut began to move. It twitched and jerked, joggled and jiggled until plop! It disappeared down under the ground. "It's a magic nut!" shouted Littlest Rabbit. "Nutty magic!" squealed Hedgehog, racing back to see. "I bet it would have tasted magic too," said Shrew. Pop! The nut sprang up right over the shrew. "Quick, grab it!" shouted Littlest Rabbit. All the animals shot across the grass, rearing and shrieking, jumping and hopping, banging and bopping into each other. "I've got it!" shouted Hedgehog, but the nut vanished again. "That's my nose!" Shrew squeaked. "Shh!" said Badger suddenly. "Look!" He pointed at the magic nut that had appeared at his feet. Everyone tiptoed up to it. The nut shook and quivered. The animals looked in amazement. "Help!" squealed the nut. "Ah!" shrieked Littlest Rabbit. "A talking nut!" "You're a talking nut," said Pecan. Pecan and Hickory bent down and pulled and tugged, yanked and wrenched at the nut with all their might. Out flew the nutshell, sending Pecan and Hickory rolling backwards, and there, where the nut had been, was Mole. Golly gosh! Mole shook himself and stood up on his two tiny legs. "Thanks," he said. "I thought I would be stuck in that nutshell forever." Littlest Rabbit put the empty shell on his head. "It makes a great hat," he giggled. "That looked like the tastiest nut ever," groaned Pecan and Hickory. "There's plenty more where that came from," chirped Mole, and he disappeared on the ground. Suddenly, shiny nuts began popping all over the place. "There's enough for everyone," Mole chuckled. "Magic!" shouted Hickory. "Magic!" shouted Pecan. "Nutty magic!" everyone shouted, and they all munched with delight. And that was the majestic book, The Nutty Nut Chase, written by Catherine White and illustrated by Vanessa Cabin. Go out, read it, and read all books like that if you enjoy. Thank you for listening to Kapow Read by Sir Rodger Rose. Remember, keep on reading and keep on dreaming.